Friends, gravity pulls everyone down. But not this boy. Discover his extraordinary story. The movie begins with a pregnant woman, Natalia, whose delivery time has arrived. Her mother, Alina, is also present. As Natalia's condition worsens, her mother rushes her to the hospital. Since it's late at night, doctors are unavailable, but a nurse begins her treatment. Eventually, Natalia gives birth to a baby boy. However, everyone is shocked and worried when they see the newborn, as something incredible happens. The baby starts floating. Natalia is stunned too. She tells her mother that an angelic baby has been born into their family. Being experienced and wise, Natalia's mother realizes that the baby is far from ordinary. The truth is, the baby was born without gravity. Feeling helpless, they secretly leave the hospital without getting officially discharged. When they return home, they try to ignore the unusual reality. As soon as they enter the house, Natalia's mother asks her a strange question. She requests her to remember the baby's guardian. But Natalia, still overwhelmed, cannot recall who the guardian might be. Then, his mother explains that the baby is not normal and they must keep it a secret. She warns that if anyone finds out, they could face serious trouble. They decide to name the baby Oscar. Raising Oscar proves to be extremely challenging because he is truly unique. Whenever they leave him alone, he sticks to the ceiling for long periods. His grandmother ties him down with various belts to keep him grounded. They even pad the ceiling to prevent him from getting hurt. They fear that if they let him outside alone, he might float into space. So they are always extra cautious with Oscar. His mother and grandmother take great care of him. As time passes, Oscar grows older but remains confined to the house. His grandmother doesn't allow him to go outside. He watches Superman cartoons at home and starts believing that he too is a superhero. Oscar frequently asks his mother Natalia why he is not allowed outside. However, they ignore his questions. Oscar watches people from the window, including children his age going to school. He gazes longingly at kids playing outside, wishing for a free life. He feels he might be trapped there forever. One day, fed up with being confined, Oscar tries to escape through the window, but his grandmother catches him and gets angry. She seals all the windows and tells Oscar he will never be like the school-going kids. He must stay home and study there. Hearing this, Oscar's mother gets angry and says, "How long will we keep him imprisoned? He will have to go outside someday." Determined, she brings a jacket for Oscar with 2 stones in its pockets to keep him from flying. Ignoring her mother's concerns, she takes Oscar outside. She also tells him to keep his secret from everyone, including Superman, or he won't remain a superhero. One day, while shopping with his mother, Oscar bumps into a girl named Agatha. Her things fall from her hands and she angrily hands him 2 water bottles, saying, "Your punishment is to deliver these bottles to my house." At first, Oscar refuses, but after Agatha insists, he agrees and sneaks away with her without telling his mother. Carrying the heavy water bottles and stones in his pockets, Oscar feels weighed down. To lighten his load, he drops the stones from his pockets. As their friendship grows, they reach Agatha's house. When she asks for the water bottles, Oscar hesitates, knowing he'll float away if he returns them. Being immature, Agatha grabs the bottles from him. As soon as she does, Oscar starts floating into the air. Luckily, the surroundings keep him from flying too high. Shocked, Agatha calls him Superman. Oscar desperately asks her for help. Hearing this, Agatha runs inside and brings her pink bag filled with stones. They stuff the stones into Oscar's pockets, and the plan works. He comes back down. From that moment, they become true friends. Oscar makes Agatha promise to keep his secret. Meanwhile, his mother and grandmother are worried about Oscar's disappearance. They search everywhere and fear he has flown away. His mother finds the stones he had dropped on the ground. Oscar returns home with the bag Agatha gave him and tells his mother about her. His mother asks if he revealed his secret to her, but Oscar lies, saying he didn't. Days pass, and Oscar and Agatha continue meeting secretly. One day, Oscar's mother discovers that Agatha knows the secret. She forbids Oscar from meeting her again. Whenever Agatha comes to visit, Natalia sends her away from the door. This raises suspicion among the neighbors, who begin to think that Oscar's mother and grandmother are mistreating him, as he never goes outside or attends school. The neighbors report the situation to the police. The next day, the police visit their home and warn them to send Oscar to school. Under pressure, they have no choice but to let Oscar attend school. His mother accompanies him, fearing he will never live a normal life. As they take Oscar to school, tears fill her eyes. Understanding the risks, his mother decides to leave the town. They move to a distant, remote place to live in isolation. Years pass, and Oscar grows up while his mother grows old. His grandmother has passed away. Oscar still keeps the bag Agatha gave him, never parting with it, not even while sleeping. Despite living a secluded life, his way of life remains the same, surrounded by secrecy. Oscar and his mother continue to care deeply for each other. Oscar had grown tired of his life. Hiding his secret left him frustrated and hopeless. He dreamed that if the world found out about him, he would become as famous as his idol, Superman. He imagined people writing books about him. However, his mother never shared this wish. She feared losing him if the secret got out. For his mother's sake, Oscar remained patient. But one day, unable to bear it anymore, he ran away from home without telling his mother. He went to a talent show where people showcased unique abilities. That night, the show reached its peak, and Oscar's mother, helpless and worried, saw him on TV. Many people watched the show, and Oscar became quite famous overnight. The next day, he met a man named David who turned out to be an agent. David promised to make Oscar a star and offered him a big house in exchange for signing a contract. Tempted by fame, Oscar agreed. Oscar's career skyrocketed. He participated in major shows, showcasing his unique talent. Before long, he became a global celebrity, earning the nickname the Man Without Gravity. The shows made a lot of money and the team enjoyed their success. However, fame came with a price. One day, Oscar realized that his childhood dream of becoming a superhero was far from reality. He was not a superhero, but merely a puppet, used by others for entertainment. Sometimes he was summoned to magic shows, other times to media events. He felt trapped in a world that only cared about his extraordinary gift, not the real him. As time passed, Oscar grew tired of his fame. Though many books were written about him and magazines featured his story, he disliked how documentaries portrayed his mother and grandmother in a negative light. This troubled him deeply. One day he was asked to wear a fairy costume for a major show, a role he hated. Frustrated, he declared, "I am not a fairy." During the show, he misbehaved with the audience, expressing his resentment toward being used as entertainment. Later, he told his mother he had decided to quit everything. He confronted his agent, saying, "I don't want to be famous anymore. My journey ends here." His agent protested, insisting he couldn't just walk away. But Oscar, fed up with the lies and manipulation, ordered him to tell the world that the Man Without Gravity had either passed away or flown away into the sky. Saying a heartfelt goodbye to his mother, Oscar set off to live a different life, away from the spotlight. In the following days, news of the Man Without Gravity's disappearance spread, sparking countless theories and stories. His mother chose to live alone, never sharing Oscar's whereabouts with anyone. Journalists frequently visited her home seeking information, but she remained silent, guarding her son's secret forever. Years later, Oscar's mother passed away, but Oscar was still alive, living a secluded life. He had grown a long beard and used a wheelchair to hide his identity. He took up a job as a hotel receptionist, blending into the world unnoticed. One day, he unexpectedly reunited with his childhood friend, Agatha. She recognized him instantly because he still carried the pink bag she had given him long ago, the same bag that kept him grounded. Seeing each other after so many years filled them with joy. However, Agatha's life was far from perfect. She was trapped in a meaningless pursuit of wealth, driven by materialism and a lack of purpose. She often visited the hotel with different companions, leaving Oscar heartbroken. Despite his lingering feelings, Agatha initially ignored his attempts to reconnect emotionally. Over time, Agatha realized her life was empty, and Oscar's sincerity touched her heart. She decided to change, leaving her reckless life behind. Oscar, too, couldn't let go of his feelings for her. In the end, they reconciled, rediscovering their love. They eventually married and moved back to their childhood home, embracing a life of love and understanding. And that's how the film concludes. Friends, how did you find the movie? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.